Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Welcome to Mindset Mondays. We are back after my hiatus, my viewing audience, for about 3 weeks because I will be launching my solo book here in about 6 weeks. I needed that time to write, get it together. But what you're going to hear this week are women that have gotten it together, both on mindset, both on the mental absolute pillar that we need in our lives. You know, America's top foundational health coach, I talk about spiritual living, 6-pillar living. 4 decades I've done this, from spiritual to physical, mental, emotional, social, and then financial. My guest here is no surprise guest to our viewing audience on Traverse TV. She's the first that has come back again. And you know why? She's gone from an acquaintance to a colleague, to a respected colleague, to a dear friend. Isn't that the way the transition goes in the mental and emotional pillar of life? And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, 4 decades of being America's top foundational health coach, known for that because over 30,000 people in my client base have reinvented their lives with over 1 million pounds of toxic fat lost. And in the COVID era, over 3,000 absolute wonderful people that have entrusted me to reclaim and regain their health and recharge their souls, because no food tastes as good as health feels. And when you take care of you and your world first, the world around you is empowered forever. This is what we do on Mindset Monday, this quick 30-minute show, but it is so gooey. It is so wonderful. And I'm going to tell you right off, make sure you write down this website, thestrengthtolive.com. That is Cyndi's website. You're going to want to get her book. It is a riveting one itself. And for those of you that know that we say, as my background, being this ponytail girl from Montana, I gave my mother hope, and I gave my son hope 2 years prior to my mother having the miracle of having her body being reclaimed even from pancreatic and liver cancer. But my start as a health coach is that I wanted to give my son the best start in life. Now, I have not a whole lot of filter right now, but I was so not filtered. When I was in my 20s, I walked into my first La Leche League meeting. I said, looking at this dining room table, there's 2 food groups here, additives and preservatives. Come on, we could do better for these babies that are here and these babies that are in our belly. And this woman came up to me. She said, well, if you spoke up, why don't you do something about it? And that's what I did. I got my first certification, and the rest is history, because I want to empower people that, yes, you can create a better you. You can create a better you spiritually, mentally, physically, emotional, socially, and financially. I know, in my quote, that when I was with Cyndi Tank Murphy, and I'm going to say that in our book that we co-authored with Ignite Publishing, she is in page 119. And she is that voice, as she said, that little voice on the prairie. At least she wasn't the little voice on the prairie, or that or that little house on the prairie. But she said, love, loss, and redemption and gratitude. That epitomizes Cyndi. Though immersed in tragedy, she's gotten clarity. She just didn't stay in that moment. She went through that moment. She epitomizes what Les Brown says, that it is possible. It is possible for you to do what only you can do. Take my hand. Go ahead and let's walk through this together. It's possible. I'm possible. And you are possible too, because it absolutely turning life upside down. I'm sure Cyndi felt many times As Les says, when you get knocked down, make sure you land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And she looked up and she created this book. She created this book in honor of her father. And it is, and we'll be delving into this after just a brief commercial from one of our sponsors, Ignite. But the strength to live, clarity, the three C's, write them down: clarity, compassion, courage, finding healing and hope after suicide. Boy, Cyndi is a one of a kind gal. She's written a one of a kind publication. Make sure you tap into her serious strength, clarity, communication, and hope. And I'll be bringing her back on stage right after this commercial break, which I think it makes sense for us to look into Ignite a Possibility in You from Ignite Publishing. Take a listen, take a look.
Ignite possibilities. It's the idea that anything is possible. In fact, anything and everything is absolutely possible. We just need to start believing in that. There's a lot of conversations going on the planet, and one of them needs to be about possibilities. We need to inspire and ignite possibilities in all of our minds once again to believe that things are possible. We can change the planet when we step into the idea that what is possible is absolutely possible, and we can go after that. We can do that. We can dream more. We can aspire for more. We can have more. We can include more. We can create more. We just have to believe it. Start doing it. Working in that direction. Having that conversation. Understanding that what's possible is truly impossible in each of us. Igniting possibilities, that's the idea. That's what we need to start talking about. Ignite possibilities in me, in you, in everyone, in humanity. When we raise ourselves up, we raise each other up. And when we start going after what's possible in our own lives, we give permission for everyone, every single person on the planet, to go after what's possible for them. Ignite possibilities. Ignite a possibility in you. Ignite possibilities in someone else. And we can change the world.
My goodness. My goodness gracious. Cyndi Tank Murphy has shown it's possible. She's gone from victim to victor, taking this possibility, and she's taken it to her end of humanity in the world. And I've got to say about Ignite right now, Lady JB Owen will be going back to India on Wednesday. Our School of Hope will be planted in the foundation of India this week. So this is what those possibilities can do. You don't know where it can go, from the voice on the prairie. So as we said, the Clever Belle and A-list hero. She was your hero back in August. And her riveting quote: the strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who fight battles we know nothing about. Doesn't that say it all? If you're drawn into her passion, if you're drawn into her story of love, loss, redemption, and gratitude, as she said, it doesn't matter. As Les Brown says, it's not over until you win. Love never ends, and she is winning all along. So welcome, Cyndi Tank Murphy. We're back together. How exciting is this? Welcome, welcome, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Jody. It's so great to be back, and I'm so honored to be the first one to come back to your show. Thank you so much.
Who knew that it was? And I'm just going to start this off because people may not know that when we did it before, and I have an office where I have a very closed door. It was locked in August, and we were talking about your father, and you said every once in a while his angel just appears, and the door opened and it shut. And I thought, well, here you are again. Here you are again, just joining Cyndi and I here. And like I said, you know, the best-selling author, her chapters are just to candidly go through your experience, to go ahead and say her healing story. I know you interviewed people. We'll get right into it. But just the fact that you went from journalist to author to now you're going to be part of this suicide prevention and advocacy speaking. I mean, I know this is a global reach, Cyndi, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been I will say a work in progress probably for my entire life. That's what I really look at this, and I will be 52 years old this summer.
You
And
youngin'.
what's that?
You youngin'. I just
I'm
turned
young.
69.
Yes, but I feel like this has really been the culmination of my life experiences that I've been able to bring to this book. And that's really what um, gave me the courage and gave me the ability to step into this calling, I call it. So um, yeah, it I like to say this was not a topic that I would have ever chosen. This is not a topic, I write very vulnerably about suicide and mental illness, and the loss of my father in this book. But it is something that I feel passionate about, that we need to have very open and honest conversations. We've been living with too many shadows surrounding discussions around this, even within families, not discussing the health implications of mental health and mental illness within families. We don't have that problem necessarily talking about heart disease
No.
or cancers or things like that, but boy, families really like to hide anything that they feel is um, I guess they don't feel that it's truly an illness, which it is. I think they feel that it's a weakness. And so we need to get out and really explain to people, no, mental illness is an illness, and there are treatments for it. And we need to be able to talk about those treatments and about the struggles that people go through so that we can ensure that people are comfortable and capable of getting the help they need.
Oh, so well said. Just you are just your words are liquid and they
Mhm.
and they minister to my soul. And as I said, it's always a good sign. See, my nose started itching from the very beginning of the show. I know that intuitively it's this is being birthed. And and because I spoke this last weekend at NAMI, which is the National Association of
Mhm.
Mental Illness,
Yes.
and I spoke on stage. It was a virtual stage with Les Brown and his son, one of his sons suffers from a severe bipolar disorder. And he said, this is when I knew that I just had to be the spokesperson for this, use my voice until I no longer have a voice and
Mm.
no longer hear. And you will be that voice as well. And it's like the ostriches underneath the carpet, the elephants in the room. 3 out of 5 people are suffering. And when I say suffering, are suffering from mental illness, from the biggest, strongest guy, athlete on the NFL team or the NBA stage to a very meek and mind teenage. I've seen
Yes.
teenager suicide, and with this bullying and all of this nonsense, it's so high strung up. I mean, I never thought of being bullied. I just did my thing and tinkled the piano keys when I was in high school. To all of that, it was is I love what my coach Jay Nolan says, and his show on Traverse TV is we must talk. And
Mhm.
he talks about the mental illness that was in his father,
Yep.
where his dad just nearly committed suicide in front of his mom,
Oh.
missed, fortunately. But then he was heading down the same path, and he goes, no, no, no. And whether it's genetic, whether it's environmental, emotional, we must talk. And that's what you're doing. So let's talk about the
Yeah.
strength to live. Let's talk about your inspiration to write the chapters. Did you interview people? I think you did.
Yes, I did. I did. This, I'll talk, let me go back to the genesis of this book, really. I mean, I feel like all throughout my life, I have been getting a tap on the shoulder. Just
Mm,
little nudges, little taps. It started with my experience in the fourth grade when the first time I learned of anyone that I knew who died by suicide, and that was my elementary school principal. I was 8 years old, going on 9. And I remember just that feeling of, wow, I don't understand this. It's too hard to understand. It's too complex. And then not realizing until my teenage years that my own father had had some very difficult challenges and had gone through a suicide attempt right after being drafted into Vietnam. Um, so I, as I'm as I'm growing and aging and I'm in my teen years, I also have friends whose siblings died by suicide, friends, girlfriends, boyfriend, all these people in this very small, close-knit community in Iowa. I grew up in a population of 3,400 people, and there were so many of these suicides that were happening, and I just couldn't understand it. Why was this happening? And so I just always kind of questioned this. And then it wasn't until 2014 when I lost my father to suicide. I had already lost a cousin to suicide as well. And so, and mental illness ran in my family. It was no secret.
That's
There were
good.
challenges. Yeah, there were challenges, except it wasn't really talked about. I mean, we
Oh,
knew that it was happening, but it
it
wasn't
wasn't
like,
a we must talk. It was
it
not a
wasn't
we
we
must
must
talk.
talk. No, it was just that you knew. There were points in my childhood and into adulthood where there were hospitalizations and things like that of my parents, and so I was very well aware of it, and I even have dealt with some of my own personal struggles and my siblings' struggles and things like that with anxiety and things over the years. So all of that culminated into the point where I lost my father, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, I have been thinking about this all this time and still do not know what to do when my own father has taken his life, and now I have a teenage daughter who's showing signs, and I can see the pattern. I could see the pattern in my own daughter, and that was the point where I said, I need to do something. I can't just sit by on the sidelines. I really need to figure out how to help my daughter.
Sure.
And I think that was really the pivoting point, was that I knew, even though medical professionals were telling me that I was just the overzealous mom, overthinking things. She was very good at hiding it. She was very good at hiding it. And so it wasn't until Halloween. She was 15 years old. I sat her down on her bed and I asked her. I had gone through the trainings. I had taken mental health crisis awareness, and really understood that it's not going to hurt or affect her any way, in any shape or form. If I ask her, it's actually going to help her. And so I sat her down, and yeah, she told me she had thoughts of taking her life, and she told me she had a plan. And so that was, yeah,
Wow.
that was probably the hardest moment of my life.
Oh,
And so from there on, I've focused my time and energy in my own personal healing, and also finding the healing in the medical treatment for my daughter. And I'm glad to say that we are in a totally different spot today than we were even a
oh,
year ago. So the key is to have these conversations, and we need to be talking to our children on a regular basis about how they feel and
not what
how
they're
they,
doing, not what the
not
next
that,
act, what the next activity. How are
exactly,
you doing? What's
exactly.
going on really? I
Yes.
was I was doing a room today in Clubhouse, and we said it was power women, power men. I said being real, which means being responsible. If you're the one of influence, being
Hmm.
being encouraging. There's no right or wrong answer. Having the right attitude of gratitude and doing it in love. When you're real, it works, doesn't it,
Yes,
Cyndi?
it does. It does.
And I've
And-
got to acknowledge you. I mean, here you are in the preface, which is, as JB Owen would say, it's the histrionics of it. You've got, I mean, all you have to do is get to page 17. You've already got the dial, the 988, the United States National Preservation Hotline, or whatever. And I'm going to put this out to our audience. Make sure that you go to Cyndi's website, thestrengthtolive.com. This is not a book that sits on your shelf. Go to her social media at The Strength to Live. She is ready, willing, and able, and very accomplished to share this information
Mhm.
on stage, on your to your events, wherever and however that it will help people. And I'll tell you, the only reason I haven't gotten into your book really far, you know why? Because I've given it to 5 different friends since it came out. So I had to, when I knew that we were going to do this show, I said, I got to get my book back from Sally. This is a book, ladies and gentlemen. It will not stay on your shelf. It will stay in somebody else's house. That's what it's destined to do, Cyndi.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I do truly believe that. When so I wrote the book. Okay. So I started to have this nudge about, all of
Sure.
these things. And in the meantime, I was also getting this nudge that I'm supposed to write a book. And this has been 20 years ago that I thought I was going to write a book. And I started a different book at the time, just didn't feel right. And it wasn't until I met some people. I went actually to New Zealand. I spoke on an international stage about suicide prevention. I told the story, one of the stories that's actually in my book, as well as about my father. And I was shocked and amazed at how many people came up to me and said, I lost a dear friend to suicide. I lost my father to suicide. Like people that I would never have imagined.
Everybody was coming from everywhere.
Yes. Yes. And I said, oh my gosh, we are like, when you think about how many people are impacted by one suicide, and that there's 47,000 in the United States, 47,000 people take their lives every year. And if it's just 10 people that are affected, but which is way, way less than that,
I've gotten that going in Lake County. Okay.
Right.
That's right.
You just think about the impact that's happening in 800,000 people around the globe. That's a tremendous amount of people that are suffering from a loss in a different grief than any other grief there is.
Of course.
Because there's not just the grief, but there's this layer of shame and guilt, and what did I do wrong? What didn't I see? Why didn't I do something? I mean, all these
shouldas. And then you end up just shooting on yourself, and that doesn't help anybody around yourself. I told you this 30-minute show goes by just like that. That's just so we're going to take a break with our second sponsor, Confidence Tones. I want to come back. The book is there. I endorse it highly. Where you can get it, thestrengthtolive.com. Where you can find Cyndi Tank Murphy. Now I want us to get back after this commercial break and said, I'm all about action. Let's have the plan. What can we get the book, and what can you do? So let's take a listen to our sponsor, Confidence Tones, that talks, ladies and gentlemen, about the 6 pillars and the mental health component of this, because tones can heal the body. Put in a miracle making machine, will heal itself. Those frequencies are manna for the soul. Take a look.
Welcome to Confidence Tones, where we use a proprietary audio development formula called audio immersion to provide an experience that's designed to help quickly and effortlessly generate positive change in the subconscious mind when used correctly. This experience is achieved using 4 primary building blocks: brainwave modulation, invocation of positive emotions, immersive imagination stimuli, and developmental suggestion. We know of no other source in the world that provides the synergistic combination. With a good pair of headphones, you'll be able to immerse yourself into audio that's designed specifically to help you feel better, do better, and live better.
Feel better, do better, live better, and be better. This is what this is all about in the mental portion. We'll get back in just a minute, but I want to just give a quick public service announcement. Many of you have asked, and we've got a consortium, a tribe that are a part of our Healthopedia network and channel, where you make these donations of any size to our being part of our listening audience. These shows do take they take money, they take initiative, and thank you for partnering with us. And if you want to get your own version of Confidence Tones, you can do this by just going to my website, drjody.com/confidence tones. I was on the consulting team making and creating these. I wish I'd stayed on the royalty side, but oh well, live and learn. And so what we've got here is just a wonderful consortium to help you sleep, do, be better, and just create something of worth. And Cyndi, I just want to say, you're going to get the book, and then it's going to go out of your household just like it did mine. So let's pass the book around. What can we do? I know in our last 5 minutes you can share what can we do as a tribe, as our 30 to 50,000 viewers that listen to this. Just give us some action points, okay?
Sure, sure. The very first thing you can do is make sure your own mental health is in check. And, we all go through times in our lives where we feel more anxious, we're stressed, and we're not taking care of ourselves. The very first thing that you need to do is just take care of number one, yourself. And when you take care of yourself, it automatically lifts everyone around you. And so, that was the first thing that I had to do after losing my father, was to get whole myself so that I could help my family.
Yes.
And so that would be my first tip. And that can come in a lot of forms. It can mean if you are really struggling and you need to find a therapist. I highly recommend finding a professional. If it means finding a hobby or another self-care technique, do that first and foremost. And then secondly, read my book. And I know that, even people that have not experienced a suicide loss have been totally touched and transformed by the book, because there are things that you learn in the book of how you can take your knowledge and be a beacon of light for other people. And really that just comes down to just how you show up every single day. You don't have to do anything special in this world, except, when you see someone and you feel that connection, or you feel that there's maybe a struggle happening, reach out and just ask how they're doing. Ask them if they're okay. You never know who you might be touching in that moment.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And Cyndi, we could have this conversation forever and forever. I know we're going to do some work. We're going to do some work on the virtual stage, and I will come up to Iowa and Illinois later. Not right now. I like my 80-degree weather, but thank you for warming my heart, even though it was 85 degrees today, because your soul is so warm and beautiful. And I didn't mean to like act like I was showing off in a tank top today. It was
I'm in my sweatshirt here, in Illinois, but
yeah,
I love it.
Like that. It was the closest thing in the closet was this sundress. So what can I say? But Cyndi, you warm is somebody's life and their soul, whether they lived in Antarctica or the North Pole. And I love how you ended. It said, "Love, hugs, and joy. You are a joy to know." Cyndi Tank Murphy, you've eliminated the stigmas, as you said, and through awareness, this is an open dialogue. We must talk. You have talked, you've broken the chain in the familial chain of events. You have, congratulations. You are truly my Wonder Woman. I honor you. I am so proud to call you friend. And I'm just going to say, let's do this again. It's just going to be a different way, shall we?
That sounds fantastic, Jody. I would love to.
Much honor. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I can say. We've got a couple of opportunities this week. We are going on with our Healthopedia. Our Healthopedia.net launched our book on the 6 pillars of health. And here we go. Here's the ticker. It is right along the bottom, Healthopedia.net. And we also have our pristineclean.eventbrite.com, because I was finishing up my book and we were launching the Foundations of Health. There'll be household names that people that are multiple international New York Times bestselling authors coming together in the medical community. We're making an impact, making an imprint, just like Cyndi was. This is what I can say. We are then starting our Pristine Clean March 13th, 20th, and 27th, a 3-week program, just 1 hour a week. And you will know, because just like Cyndi empowers in the mental health, what I do in health, you will know what to do. You'll know what to do the next time around, so that you get this empowered course Then 90 days later, you can DIY, do it yourself. That's just the way it goes. So know that we are doing here on, you will hear this. This is a recording today. You'll hear it tomorrow, noon Eastern time. But Cyndi epitomizes this. She gives people hope. It stands for healing, opportunity, positivity, and empowerment. Just know that you can reach out to me at Health Coach Jody at any time. You will go ahead and hear us Thursday with Rosalind Palmer, international executive coach, 3-time author with Ignite Publishing. And she will be my life's milkshake moment guest because she too, Cyndi, felt like 30 minutes wasn't enough. But we came back and we're going to do our hour show. But remember, always, always, health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey. So just take care of you and your world first. Be that voice in the darkness to shed light and shed the light of the truth to someone else. And just know, until you can see us on Thursday, we always, always say, just have a kind of healthy mindset day, Mindset Monday. I hope it's a great day for you. And we can say from Dr. J, ciao for now.